Oh man. Hello. How's it going? Did you miss me? Don't answer that. But I bet you didn't expect to see me back on here again. I'm back. Well, okay, almost. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to Hazy the Entity's channel. A name that I've not forgotten, not yet. But a name that hasn't been super active on the YouTube platform for a little bit now. So we got a lot to discuss today, and I'm sure you read by the title. This does mean I will be coming back, a new revival, if you will. Now, God, where do I begin? It's been a year. It's been about a year since my last video. So let me tell you guys where things kind of went awry and why I haven't really been on the platform as much as I used to, and why I haven't posted in a year. uh, so problem number one is the old property that I was at did not have an optic fiber cable, and so any modern internet plan was off the table. And the internet that I did have was running through landline connections. So anybody who knows about landline connected internet, you guys kind of know where I'm getting at with this. But for those of you who don't, landline internet is limiting to a significant degree. So the problem with that is I was running top speeds of 12.8 megabytes a second download and about like zero point 0.8 megabytes a second upload, which is not at all for ideal for posting on YouTube or streaming or anything like that. So I haven't been active on YouTube or Twitch for that reason. Another reason why I haven't exactly been present is I had to kind of figure stuff out in my personal life. So, as you guys may have guessed, I'm a young adult and I'm still trying to figure out how to get into the world of adulting. And with my generation, that comes with its own fair share of challenges. And I had to get my money up, and I need to put my funny to rest for a little bit in order to actually make this sustainable, because there's a lot of financial biases that go to this. So a problem that I ended up running into was I didn't really have a whole lot of money for games. And that's a problem because then I really don't have a whole lot of content to post besides games at the moment. I will eventually. But yeah, not having money for games is a big issue whenever that makes up, most of my channel. And yeah, so I wanted to get new equipment. I got a new microphone since then, and I was able to invest in more storage devices, which cost quite a bit of money. Because I'm running this on a gaming laptop. Everything I do is on a gaming laptop. I don't have a proper like tower setup. Eventually, I hope to invest in that. Actually, later this year, I hope to get that sorted out and get a new system running and something with a little bit more storage. But since I've been able to kind of financially stable myself over the past year and come to a better part of my life, it's gotten to the point where I can actually afford, more external hard drives if needed. I can afford, more availability for games, and I can afford to record while still being able to pay stuff like rent and lively expenses. I can spend a little less time to relax and do the things I like to do, like posting and making content and stuff I do in my free time. So yeah, that became a challenge. And another big challenge, which I'd actually briefly mentioned in the last video I posted a year ago, which was the AI talk video, the chat I did about AI and how much you're going to see it down on this channel, which, by the way, little side rant, by the way, since then has skyrocketed and not necessarily for the better. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of funny AI content out there. I do enjoy a little bit of it, like just stuff that I watch. But yeah, no, that situation got worse fast. It's appeared a lot more in marketing, more than what I would have liked, which I talked about that a lot in that video too. But anyways, not to get too off topic here. Um, yeah, so I had mentioned in that video that I was experiencing a bit of burnout with editing, and it really took a toll on me. I like making content, don't get me wrong. The recording process is not exactly the problem. I'm good at hitting the record button, making sure audio is where it needs to be. Setbacks happen. Sometimes I'll record videos with with no sound, and I have to redo some of the commentary. Not with the gaming videos. If it happens with gaming, like that stuff has to be scrapped because I like premiering stuff whenever I play. But it gotten to a point to where editing was a struggle. So normally, on average, my recording times are about an hour and a half, depending on what game I'm playing. Stuff like the classrooms, it's more of like a 4 hour raw recording footage. And the problem with that is I spend just about that time, that recording time plus like half more. So let's say I have like an hour and 30 minutes of raw footage, right? I From the moment I hit record to the moment I'm done editing, that time frame is going to be somewhere around, let's see, an hour 30, 3 hours, about 3 hours and 45 minutes worth. Because I would spend an hour, an hour and 30 minutes, going back through the video, making sure I edit it piece by piece, and I have to stop and go in that process. So I'll end up spending, um, I want to say, let's see, an hour and 30 minutes times two, that's 3 hours plus another half. Yeah, that's right. So 3 hours and 45 minutes would be the total time it would take for me to produce uh, footage, including the recording, for an hour and 30-minute video, or it may take longer if I end up having a funny bit in mind and I need to add more effects or anything, or if I need to fix audio. That takes time and effort. And the problem I ran into is whenever I'm trying to balance work and whenever I'm working a lot, and I have a wife to take care of. I have stuff that I need to do. My own personal life, that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of effort, and it got really tiring for me. Even though I love editing, I love AV production. I love working with video audio. I love being able to post and make stuff that I want. It's an art form. Uh, it did get a lot, and whenever I'm trying to do it once a week and I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, it's not exactly ideal. And it becomes more of a hassle than the happiness that it brings me. But I've come to a point where I've landed a spot where I have more time to do that now. And I'm looking forward to eventually getting somebody else on board that can split the editing workload with me. I'm still gonna edit a lot of my own stuff just because I like my style of content and I kind of want to keep it the same a little bit, but splitting the workload will make it easier to where I can actually pace myself and still have stuff done on time. Because while yes, I could come back to a video days after I record it and then edit it and post it, it's hard for me because with somebody with ADHD, I like to get everything done in one sitting. Right after I'm done recording, I go to editing and I get it done, and then I post it and I schedule what time it needs to post. That's it. Um, but when that takes hours on end, and I have my own schedule to work around, that's a lot for one person to do. Everything I've done so far has been one person, me. So looking forward to bringing somebody else on board that I can share that workload with is something that I'm looking forward to here in the future. And it would be able to make it to where I can actually post more content for you guys and you guys can have more to view, you have more to watch, more entertainment. And so yeah, that's something that is available to me now, with due time. So we get to look forward to that together. Other than that, um, yeah, I've just taken this past year to myself, and it's finally turned out for the better, luckily. And so I'm actually able to afford my hobbies now. I wanted to get into a little bit of a sneak peek. I'm not necessarily like gonna leak anything, but or I don't have like a trailer or anything prepared. But I do want to kind of tell y'all about some of the stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes because I have been thinking about this and planning on getting back to this for a while now. So I started working on music. I have an entire album's worth of lyrics and rough drafts in a folder on my computer. But the problem is, and the problem that I've come to is the fact that I'm not really instrumentally savvy. I'm good with vocals and editing, but instruments is something that I haven't quite been able to grasp all that well. And the people that I know that do have instrumental talent aren't always available, whether it's college, living out of state, that stuff is not always possible to make happen the way I want it to. But with better financial status, I've been able to actually look into a program called FL Studio. And while yes, I am technically able to afford it now, I'm just around the bend from actually purchasing it. Which, since I'm good with working with software, working with editors, I can use that ability to fill in my lack in instrumental uh, capabilities, and I can actually add instrumentals to my music without having to physically play. So I'm gonna be able soon to start making the music and stuff that I wrote. And eventually I want to expand that to Spotify. Eventually I want to play around with making my own music videos, uh, diving into more professional ish professional ish production and music videos to make of my own stuff, which is something I've wanted to do since I was very young. So you guys are going to be able to look forward to that. I've been able to purchase a lot more games. Um, and I've kind of thought about going in down a nostalgia route. A good example of this would be Firewatch. I downloaded Firewatch, I bought it when it was on sale one of these last times, and I think it would be a good opportunity to reach back into those games because I never got into them personally. I never watched anybody play them, but I know the community was really big, back in the day. Even though it was posted years and years and years ago, it's not exactly popular now, but I know that community exists. And so I'm thinking about kind of joining a community and having like a really late start, but it would be neat because the viewers at home who were a fan of it can kind of like come back to it and see it posted as new content, and it's like a nostalgia thing, or at least that's how I would assume it works. Um, or another idea I've had is like I'm a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan. With the movies and stuff, I've been stoked, but I haven't played a whole lot of the games. So I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, I may do an entire series run through, not one video, of course, or one stream, but I may do an entire run through of all the games and stuff and play that because I really like it, and I'm an absolute nerd for that series in my personal time. So that's something that you guys can look forward to as well on my channel. I have been digging into working on a podcast, which I lightly mentioned in my last video. So podcast is something that's going to be underway and a project that I'm going to want to chase in the future. Um, Besides that, there's a couple other things that I'm wanting to do in the future that you guys can actually enjoy and content that I can post for you guys. But I don't want to keep this video too long because it is just me rambling. And technically, even though they're a year apart, this is my second video in a row just rambling. But the big news is that the big peak of the story is I'm back, and while yes, um, I don't have all of my equipment. Since this is a fairly new apartment, which is actually why you guys hear a little bit of echo, I don't have a whole lot of furniture in here yet. I got to get everything moved in still, and I'm in the process of doing that. Mixed with, work stuff. So the idea behind that is, more furniture I get in here, the less reverb you guys will hear through my mic, which I don't think you guys should be able to hear it too much, but it may kind of bleed into the microphone a little bit every now and again. But yeah, so that will be fixed. I promise here soon. But I hope to get some of my equipment back up and running, and I'm actually gonna start investing in new equipment, like a desktop tower setup and a new monitor, one that's better fit for the games that I play and higher res, better graphics cards, that sort of thing. And so yeah, once I get all that set up, I will be back and I'll be posting content on a regular basis again. It's going to be a little slow at first. I got to get back into the swing of things and get used to doing this again. But I'm really excited for it, and I hope that you guys can learn to be half excited about my content as I am, and enjoy it as much as I do. Um, so I'm really excited to be back. To be honest with you, yeah. So I will leave a link to my Twitch down below. That's probably going to be the thing that I get started first more than anything because that doesn't require so much editing. And since I still ended up being featured in streams every week with Emo Turtle and the Emo Crew, I've I can actually start streaming alongside that again and do a co-host situation. I've also been reaching out to small streamers and stuff and let them know that eventually I was going to get back into content making, and I've gotten permission to do a couple collab streams whenever I got back into it. So I'm planning on doing a lot of streaming collabs, especially with Dead by Daylight, which since then I've gotten really obsessed with. I've gotten really obsessed with Dead by Daylight. The last I posted Dead by Daylight, I had about what 300 hours in it. Now I'm up about to 1,000 now. I've played that game so much now, and I'm planning to post it a lot because I play it so much. And there's a lot of funny clips I can get out of it, especially now that I'm good. Um, and I've been able to learn the game a lot more. I got Victoria to level 100, by the way, a little spoiler. But so I'm maining Sable and a couple killers now. But yeah, so I plan to be posting a lot of that content, doing a lot of collabs, and expanding what kind of content I do too, which I'll get into a little bit either in a future video or I may just end up posting it, and you guys will see for yourself with no explanation needed. But yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna leave it here. Uh, just keep a lookout for any new videos. If you haven't already, subscribe, please. And turn on notifications. Leave a like if you liked it. I could promote it, but up to you, of course. And I hope to be making more content for you guys soon. So for now, I will leave it here, and I will see you guys whenever that new content's released. So for now, good night, everybody. Fuck, I miss saying that.